Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Sevens. It is the last of the day, and it is Fiji versus New Zealand. Now, whoever wins this game will advance to the semi-finals. The matchup between Argentina and Great Britain is currently taking place, so soon we'll know who they'll be facing. More than likely, it seems like it's going to be actually Great Britain at the way that it currently sits, but we'll have to wait and see. Of course, they have currently got themselves the position. On the other side of the draw, we've found out that it's going to be Spain versus Kenya in the other semi-final, so a massive opportunity for one of those two sides. But looking through at what is to come in terms of the starting lineups: Josefa Talatholo, Georgie Nasova, Civil Mothanothangi, George Balsi, Felipe Saturanga, Tera Wailangi, Sakiusa Sanila. That is the starting side for the Fijians. For the New Zealanders will be Cody Vai, Narohi McGarvey Black, Regan Ware, Tony Nashu, Dylan Collier, Brady Rush, and Amanaki Nicole, last man in the starting lineup. So, the fact that Kenya have made it through to the next stage, if they won the whole competition, they would actually still not escape the relegation zone, which is quite a brutal one for the Kenyans. The Spanish, if they were to win this competition and Argentina were to get knocked out early, maybe they qualify just that little bit further forward. Afternoon, Hamish and Rugby Rocket, says Ruth. Welcome in. Cape Town, cool and cloudy, says Ruth. And there as well. So currently the way that it sits for this group, we see the Argentine coach. He is eating his shirt at the moment, trying to calm the nerves a little bit more. But they've got 30 seconds. I just want to very quickly check to see what has to happen in this one. I believe, if I'm not wrong, that GB, if they get the bonus point, they will be through. Like they've just said, all they need to do is get their ball off the park. For the Singapore Sevens in that group, I don't know whether or not Argentina can actually overtake Great Britain. Wait, Argentina have kicked it into touch. Why have they done that? Have they must have qualified, because one of the Argentine players is upside down. So that's good. Oh no, I understand why they're happy. They've won the title. I think they got knocked out. I think Great Britain are going through to the semi-finals, but Argentina have got themselves the win here. We're about to find out anyway. But New Zealand versus Fiji, ladies and gents, just around the corner from taking place. There was plenty of confusion happening out there on the field. And Irish says Blues Nut. Yeah, I was confused at what happened, but I believe it's because they've got enough points to win the overall title. Of course, straight after this, the reaction from the coach. That's pretty harsh, putting a microphone in his face right when he's won it. And anyway, says Blues Nate. So yeah, anyone who didn't hear the starting lineups for these two sides, it is Josefa Talatholo, Georgie Nasova, Sivo Mothanothangi, George Balsi, Felipe Saturanga, Tera Wailangi, and Sakiusu Sanila, the last man in the starting lineup. For the Kiwis, it is Cody Vine, Rohi McGarvey Black, Regan Ware, Tony Nashu, Dylan Collier, Brady Rush, and Amanaki Nicole. Some great options off the bench for both of these sides, including Vui Viwa Nadovalo for the Fijians. For New Zealand, they have got quite a few handy guys, including a couple experienced heads of Sione Molia and Andrew Newstub there as well. But what we will quickly do is we will check to see if they have confirmed any semi-finals. So the first one is going to be Kenya versus Spain, like I said. Bulls leading Bay on 15 points to 8. That's actually that's a pretty good lead for that Bulls side. Definitely because coming into the contest, a lot of people felt that they were the underdogs in that match. But they must still have a little while to go, do they, LFG? Probably about 20 minutes or so. So yeah, hopefully they'll be able to get something going and move through to the next stage. It would be great to see a South African side into that position. But yeah, we'll have to, of course, wait and see. Just like we are waiting for this contest as well that is just about to get underway. And halftime for the Bulls match also. They've still got a whole half. It's going to be tough. We are going to be covering that Leon versus Sharks match of the Challenge Cup, though, I should mention. That is going to be taking place tomorrow in about 27 hours' time. And Tosa Ventitoso says Atamani. Yeah, so Argentina, they have actually confirmed their spot in the semi-final. My apologies. I thought that they missed out because of Great Britain having a better points differential as well as having the same amount of points. That seemed like a very word-heavy sentence, but we got it in front of us. Spain and Kenya both went undefeated in their groups, and now New Zealand versus Fiji. Whoever wins this game goes through to the semi to face Argentina. Sharks will be too strong for Leon. Have you seen the Sharks lineup though, LFG? Because they have gone with a very young side. They decided to mix it up a bit and possibly take a bit of a risk of, coming in as big underdogs in that game. Like, don't get me wrong, they are a strong side either way, and I actually do think the younger guys are doing better at stages than the older players. But Talatholo raising the ball up. The Fijians know how much this game is going to be crucial for the overall outcome of this year. And Hamish is going to do it. Puma's waiting, says Roof. Yeah, it doesn't exactly get any easier for these two sides, does it? You go straight into a match up against Los Pumas, the side that have just secured the title for 2025. But it is going to be New Zealand. They'll be kicking this one off from right to left. The Argentine coaches in tears doing a lap of the ground. That is because they have got themselves the league title. It means that no matter what, they cannot lose it from here, whether Fiji or Spain do well. It doesn't matter. And now going to be kicked off by Narohi McGarvey Black. And it's going to be all through the hands of Josefa Talatholo. I believe he got a touch on it. He's quite happy about it because they're going to say it didn't come off his hands. And it will be the line out for Fiji. Okay, not too happy about that one was Amanaki Nicole. He was certain that it hit the hands of Talatholo, and I thought it did too, to be fair. Where's Leroy Cardi? He's playing on the wing for the Chiefs more times than not, so that is where he has disappeared to in terms of the Seventh Circuit. Now Felipe Satoranga ready to throw this ball in for the Fijians. Nicely taken by Talatholo. Terawai Langi going across to the left-hand side. George Balsi. One more to Georgie Nasova. He's moved up to 22 tries in total on the Seventh Circuit this year. And what's up, Hamish? Says, Bill, welcome in. You're doing extremely well. Go Fiji, go, says Avakesh. New Zealand having to release in the breakdown. Here comes a nice attack and run from the Fijian. Seven Muthanathangi gets through one. Another offload goes to Terawai Langi. Be about 40 metres out from the line. Picked up nicely by Sanila, gets the offload away. This is brilliant play from Fiji, and just like we used to see in the classic offloading. Another one from Balsi. In fact, he's going to spin. Now he offloads it to Sevo Mothinothangi. And he does score the try. Brady Rush flies in afterwards. A bit of frustration there for the Kiwis. Think Fiji will win this one, sadly. But they are just too good, says Novmum. But yeah, the problem that Fiji have had recently, a little bit similar to New Zealand, is closing out matches. So just because they're leading now doesn't mean they will be at the end. I'm guessing every knock on before a try will be given, says Katsanel. And it's going to be a great try from the Fijians. And that kick has gone over, now making the score 7 points to 0 in favour of the Fijian side. Currently, the live standings would have Fiji sitting with a points differential of plus 43 and on 6 points compared to New Zealand's 4. Here comes Cody Vai. It seems like maybe Fiji were caught lacking there. Satoranga sold the wrong way, and already New Zealand managed to fire back with a try of their own. Oh, is that last try really a try, Hamish? Says Katsanel. Wait, which one are we talking? Are we talking that one that just happened? Are you saying because of Talatholo touching that ball before the line out? However, the New Zealand needs to step up a notch. Come on, boys, let's go, says Ruth. Yeah, sold the wrong way there for Felipe Satoranga. Just really nicely done by Cody Vai, staying up in the air for a long time. He was lifted by his teammate, who was never going to put him down. And that kick has missed away to the side, making the score now 7 points to 5 in favour of Fiji. And Vai went bye-bye, says Blues Nate. Nicely taken by George Balsi, looking for the offload. Gets it away to Georgie Nasova. Sivamothanotangi across now to 22 metres out from the line. Felipe Satoranga trying to step their way through. Sanilla almost ending up on the wrong side of the breakdown. Bit of a counter ruck from Amanaki Nicole as well as Dylan Collier. Trying to get in there too. Nice step from Fiji, almost making their way through. Felipe Satoranga again. Only sitting 10 metres out from their own line. Tosaveti Toso says Blues Nate. Now a little kick in behind from the Fijians. A little bit of a different tactic. Then that was going to be Vainuku, I think, did end up falling over. And now picked up by Terawalangi, breaking through, trying to fend off Cody Vai, who almost managed to stop him, but Talatholo scores it anyway. And Fiji now get their second of what is the equivalent of a knockout final. Both of these sides undefeated at this stage. They've only played one game each, but whoever wins this moves on to face Argentina. Whoever loses it, they end up, well, not quite going home. They still have their games tomorrow, and they will be playing off between 5th and 8th. Cody Vai, I think, did extremely well to slow down Tera Wailangi, but then by there, the offload option was open, and the Fijians once again managed to find it. Conversion misses away to the side, so 7 points difference, 12 points to 5 now. The 51st try for Josefa Talatholo from his 23 Sevens tournaments. Kicked high off the kickoff. Well claimed by New Zealand again. Back across to the right-hand side. Collier manages to find the offload to Tony Nyashu. Bit of a miscommunication from New Zealand. And another chance to be able to jump on it. Brady Rush kicked that dead. Now, there's nothing against that. If he had slapped it dead, it would have been a penalty try more than likely. But it will become a 5-metre scrum here for Fiji. Just showing the semis the way that it is sitting. Kenya will be playing Spain in one side of the draw. And on the other, it is Argentina versus Fiji just currently, unless New Zealand can find their way back into this game. Bah, says Novmum. And as there's a tennis match, it can be. And both of these sides normally do have seesaw type of matches. I always say you could have these two sides play 5 times against each other and you just couldn't predict any results. It's going to be the penalty going the way of Fiji. I torture myself watching All Black Sevens play. Says Novmum Sanila. Gets his offload away to Sivamothanotangi. They have got numbers on this left-hand side. George Baosi. Does he want to shove it out wide? Yes, he does. And he goes to Nasova, who scores try number 23 for his 2025 Sevens circuit. I think his 29th of his career. He got the chance late last season. Made a bit of an impact, so they said, yep, we'll bring him in again. And boy, was that a good decision. 23 tries later, he's almost brought up 125 points by himself without taking any kicks. Now, kick from Fiji has gone high and misses away to the side again. They'll make the score 17 points to 5. At the moment, Marcos Maneta slowly trying to gain on him. He's up to 21, but Georgie Nasova has the 23. Only 5 seconds remaining in the half. Nicely taken by Regan Ware. Naroi McGarvey Black goes off to the left-hand side. Tony Nyashu to Dylan Collier. He's got a bit of space to be able to work with. Shape for the kick, but decides against it. His foot is on the touchline. Referee said play on. Fiji just run that ball out, and it will be half-time now, sitting 17 points to 5. And Argentina says Roro, and they have managed to book themselves a spot through to the semi-finals. Alongside that, they have also crowned themselves as the Sevens champions for 2024-25 season. So a massive congratulations, of course, to Los Pumas, but they're on a big winning streak. With the exception, I mean, they were anyway, up until they did lose to the South Africans, but in terms of winning gold medals for each leg of the Sevens, they won the last 3 or so, so they'll definitely want to make it 4 today, or tomorrow, when it does take place. And Los Pumas, vamos amigos, says a roof there. Now second half, just about to get back underway. Of course, for Sevens, you get a very short break in between, and then you're just straight back into the action. There is also a match taking place of the Challenge Cup between Bayonne and the Bulls, and the Bulls are ahead by 7 at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Something that some people probably wouldn't have predicted. And in the Champions Cup side of things, Saracens are just beating Toulon. So that one could also go either way in the final moments. Now, second half of this contest is just about to take place. We have got the semi-finals that we will be doing tomorrow as well. So anyone who is new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated you all being here for these matches. Both teams ready to go. Fiji will be kicking off this one right to left with a 12-point lead. Can they close out the game? I mentioned about it briefly earlier on. Fiji and New Zealand both have struggled to finish off contests. Is this going to be another example of that? Thing is, someone has to finish it well because someone has to get the win in this contest between the sides. But Tony Nyashu going on the outside to Dylan Collier, about 40 metres out from New Zealand's line at the moment. Georgie Nasova as well as Talatholo trying to push him towards the touchline, but he does find his knee on the ground, so they do release. They're looking for another gap, Cody Vai, but set up there by Narohi Makavi Black. Pretty much fed him to George Balsi and said, you can put a big hit on him now. Amanaki Nicole goes back across to the left-hand side here. New Zealand trying to attack from their own 22. Isn't always easy to do, but they seem to have a calm composure about them when they're in this position on the park. Now back across to the right-hand side again. Amanaki Nicole gets that across to Cody Vai. Missed tackle there from George Balsi. Now Narohi McGarvey Black. Good pace shown. Taken by New Zealand. Amanaki Nicole drops that ball. Balsi picks it up and goes across to Motiro Fangi. Now shoveling it on. Talatholo running sideways. Looking for the offload. Manages to find it. And they're not even going to need that next offload by the looks of it. It will be another try. And it will be none other than, of course, Georgie Nasova. Go Fiji, says Will. And that might just about secure this game for the Fijians. Told you Fiji too good, says Novmum. Georgie Nasova gets around. This will be an interesting one because, of course, last week, Fiji lost to Argentina by about 28 points. And now they find themselves facing off again. Nasova knowing where the camera was, looking straight at it for his celebration. Another kick is missed away to the side. That's a bit of a concern for the Fijians at the moment. Yes, this game, it doesn't matter too much. They're already leading by a big margin. But in a big game like the one up against Los Pumas, I don't think you can afford to miss 3 of your 4 kicks. That's 6 extra points that Fiji could have at the moment. And in fact, New Zealand, if they were able to score themselves 3 tries here and get a couple more kicks over, they've still theoretically got a bit of a chance in this game. If Fiji let that happen, though, it would be pretty poor on their part. Andrew Newstub taking that one for New Zealand, just outside of the 22. Regan Ware, one of the more experienced heads for New Zealand. Orvai Nuku tries to keep the ball alive, and he does give it straight back into the hands of the Fijians, and they will say thank you very much. Running towards 25 metres out, Saniela, ball on the inside to Saturanga. It is a decimation of New Zealand's defence at the moment from Fiji. They have certainly come to play here. Saturanga moves up to try number 14 for himself, only 9 away from his half century. Can he convert his own kick? Yes, he can. He does get that one over, and that will now make the score 29 points to 5. And second half, New Zealand must start well. Try, says Ruth. Yeah, they're going to need many more than just the one now, aren't they? They just don't seem like they've quite found their momentum. Fiji running away, says Ruth. Now ready. Go for this one. Is this a ball game? It is, but it's also the equivalent of a knockout because we're in a shortened competition. It means that because these two sides have 1 win each, whoever was going to win it would move through to the semi-final. But yeah, shortened competition, you only need 4 wins in a row and you win the whole thing. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes for these sides. And it's quite interesting because Argentina will be the only side through to the playoffs that aren't undefeated. But they probably come in as favourites to be able to win the whole thing. That just tells you how strong Los Pumas have been. New Zealand win themselves a penalty about 30 metres out from their line. Now shove it on to Brady Rush. It just seems like New Zealand are lacking ideas at the moment. Fiji have been all over them. 5 metres out from their own line. Now passing on the outside was Amanaki Nicole. Vainuku tackled about 45 metres out. Are there any URC games or should I go to sleep? There are no URC games happening this weekend or next weekend due to the Champions and Challenge Cup. We're doing the Champions Cup game between Leinster and Harlequins, taking place in about an hour and 20 minutes. But yeah, no URC taking place this weekend. New stub now passes on the outside, tries to give it to the touch judge, and said there's hardly anyone there. Hong Kong crowds was fantastic last week. A little bit of push and shove between New Zealand and Fiji. But yeah, once again, this is also down to shortened competition. You know, when you look at, that's the thing. They'll probably have a decent crowd tomorrow, but I am one of the, I don't want to say one of the biggest, it's just, I don't like the shortened comp. If it's for the sake of the players, which I believe it is to a certain extent to try and have some more rest time, just spread out the legs a little bit more. You know, have an extra week before they have to play in Singapore so that the players are rested. But, you know, the way that the schedule is and the fact that they took away certain teams from the Seven Circuit means that they should have had a competition setup that was, you know, bulletproof. But it's anything but. It's going to be knocked on. But, I mean, the good news about the shortened one is we get to see matches like Kenya versus Spain as a semi-final, which in another scenario, you know, Kenya might have not got that opportunity. So, pretty massive for them. It might be their last time that they get to play a playoff game on the circuit because they are in the bottom 4, which means that they will be in the relegation zone for the next leg, which is another thing I'm not a massive fan of, the fact that the bottom 4 could have a chance of losing their spot rather than bottom 2 and came away from the Bulls game who are the semi-finalists tomorrow. So Spain versus Kenya is one of them. And then on the other side is Argentina versus the winner of this game. At the moment, it looks like Fiji with just 1 minute remaining on the clock. New Zealand now still looking for one last attack. Sione Molia tackled well. Amanaki Nicole playing halfback. How many minutes are left for the game to finish? Just the 1 minute. Still on the clock, Vainuku. In fact, this time it's going to be Maka. 25 metres. I think Sevens games should be part of Union games. 4 games enduring half-time. Says Katson now. The biggest problem you've got with that, I would say before the game could be quite an idea. The problem with the half-time is, I mean, we just saw Great Britain versus South Africa earlier today take 30 minutes to play. So in that case, you'd be keeping everyone waiting inside of the changing sheds for their chance to make their way back on. But if you can guarantee it could happen in less than 10 minutes. Oh, that was close to Molia going into touch, but he has now knocked the ball on and the penalty will go the way of New Zealand. They should do this competition routine for every IRB series. Go Fiji and take your revenge on the Pumas in the semi-finals. Another drop ball from the Kiwis. They have really let this game slip. They haven't even really been that close. Nadovalo offloads it across. It's going to be a bit of a foot race. Basialo going inside, and now they're just teasing the Kiwis. Another try. And it is Vakadrano who scores it between the posts to really secure a massive win for the Fijians. We have got there. Damn, not going to Hamish miss an opportunity. Says Blues Nate. Yeah, really nice try. Looked like everyone was pretty fatigued at that point in time. You know what? The game between Saracens and Toulon is extremely close. 32 points to 35. Could go either way, that one. And the Bulls currently still have their lead of 7 up against Bayern. And go Fiji, go, says Titalia, I should say there. But 36 points to 5. The win for Fiji. So they will be playing up against Argentina tomorrow in the semi. And that will be happening at 6:56 p.m. New Zealand time. 5:56 p.m. for you guys in Fiji. And in South Africa, that is 7:56 a.m. that contest will take place. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. In an hour and 10 minutes, we have got the matchup taking place between the Harlequins and also the Leinster side. So be sure to check that one out. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all tomorrow for some more of the Sevens.